Good evening. It's time to call to order the Guthrie Public Schools Board of Education meeting for the month of May. I'll get it out. Monday, May 9, 2016. Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Here.
Bennett Johnson.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Salee. Pearson.
Here.
Pennington.
Here.
Watts.
Here.
Madam President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Could you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item, presentation of certified and support employees of the month.
Strobel?
Just want to remind the board, this is the last presentation we'll have until next August, and so have some great ones here for the month of April. For support, was nominated Brenda Brandon. Would you want to come up? And Brenda is a special education teacher at Cotterill, and she nominated Liz. And presenting a plaque and a $25 gift card to Sonic from the Lions Club.
Okay, Liz is a paraprofessional in my classroom. She works with a student in my classroom that's visually impaired. Liz is amazing with her. She's gone out of her way to learn Braille herself so that she can effectively teach our student. And if you know anything about Braille, it's not just something you can learn overnight. She prepares every worksheet and every activity for our student, whether that means she's adding texture to it or brailing it. So that our student can effectively learn. She also helps with all the other goals that we've set forth for this student. She goes above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that the student is making great strides in their education. And words cannot explain how amazing she is with this student, all the other students in our class, and the entire school. So I'd like to present to you.
And our certified employee of the month presenting will be Rosie Stefani. Did I say that right, Rosie? Yes. All right, come on up, Rosie. And Mandy, come up.
Okay. Mandy's dedication to our district and her students is simply inspirational and uplifting. She's a great mentor to young teachers as well as her students. Mandy's always willing to share her knowledge and help others grow. She never gives up on her students. She's always pushing them to be their best and do their best. I'm truly moved by her devotion to her students and her willingness to go above and beyond the call of duty. She continues to prove her commitment to this district and its students every day. I'm lucky to not only call Mandy my mentor and colleague, but also my friend.
My face is twitching. I don't smile often.
Thank you. We look forward to the start of next year when we can have more. Let's get over this year. Item number 6, comments to the board. Do we have any citizens registered to speak to the board?
We do not.
Are there any comments by board members? Well, I have one. I want to make a little brag on the little yearbook for the Cotterill Central and Fogarty Elementary Schools. I was able to obtain a copy of this from Mr. Graham. Thank you very much. Well put together, and kudos to everyone who worked on this. I just think it's the neatest thing. I just enjoyed looking through it. I have several friends in there that have children in there, so I enjoyed looking them up, and I just think that you did a great job on that, so thank you very much.
It's interesting that the superintendent hasn't even seen it.
Well, you know, I'm going to put that right there. But I did find his child in there, so I did my duty. No. Next item, superintendent's reports. Dr. Simpson?
We have, as is always the case this time of year, we have a lot of events going on, and if I were to put them all in the report, we'd be up here till well after dark before we ever got onto the next agenda item, I'm afraid. So I'm going to give the highlights of it. The most important dates, May 15th, that's a Sunday afternoon, baccalaureate services be at 2 p.m. at Guthrie High School gym. And I think the board is aware, let the public be aware, I will be out of town at a wedding for my brother-in-law, where my daughter is the flower girl, so that's my note from home. May 17th, the Senior Academic Awards Night at the high school cafeteria beginning at 6:30 p.m. That's, if you've not been to that, that's really a fun night. There's a lot of money handed out that night to our deserving senior class, and I always look forward to that night. And if you can attend, that would obviously be a welcome sight. May 20th will be our last day of school, and then also May 20th was the graduation. That's a little different than what we've had in the past. We're going to have it after the last day of school, and that'll be at Gelsman Stadium beginning at 7:30 p.m. We have not, I wanted to work this year toward a rain location of the Lazy E, but they had already had the building booked for the corresponding date, so we'll work on that next year to see if we can have that option. But as of right now, it's scheduled for Gelsman Stadium, and rain location, we will follow the same protocols that we have in the past few years. An update for next year. We're already working on next year, and so met this morning with Ms. Walters, and they are working toward a centralized elementary enrollment and Ms. Walters has been working with the elementary principals to try and have this ready to go by August. The idea is we want as much as possible to make it a one-stop event, regardless of the elementary site the students attend. We're trying to make it easier on the parents. We'll have I visited with Mr. Benson today, and I know Ms. Walters has too, utilize the high school cafeteria. We've got plenty of parking there. We'll have our technology in the cafeteria where we can work with the parents and have a logical process for enrollment where parents hopefully are not running all over town. And that's something we've been working toward as we've kind of gone through this. And I got to confess, as a parent, I looked at it from a parental standpoint myself and made some suggestions. There's been a lot of people involved in this, and hopefully we'll end up with a better process. Now the stuff that's not so good. Budget update. On April 27th, we received notice from the State Department of another cut this year in this year's allocation based on undercollection in the Education Technology Revolving Fund. And this was in the paper. Spoke to the news leader about this as well. The projected cut is between $64,000 and $83,000 for this fiscal year. That will probably be, obviously all the cuts this year have been absorbed within the district carryover, and we'll be scrutinizing that very carefully as we go forward, as we have all of the discussions, especially after the presentation that you had last month. Also on the same day, we received notice from OG&E of a malfunction in our electric meter at Guess. We've been given an estimate of being undercharged by $45,000, and we are working with them to determine what the correct charges should be. We will require documentation from them, obviously, but the bills they have been undercollecting because the meters were not functioning properly. And so we will obviously have lots of discussion with them in the coming days about that. Now, some good news. I wanted to end on some good news. The next day, the 28th, we received notice of a $10,000 grant for band instruments from the Carmichael Foundation in memory of William A. Clement. Mr. Clement spent a large portion of his life in Guthrie and was known as a mentor to many local youth through Boy Scouts. And so I want to offer congratulations to Mr. Blackburn and the band, as well as thanks to Ms. Walters and Mr. Schultz for their work in the application process of that grant. So we do have some good news too. That is my report.
Thank you, Dr. Simpson. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Presentation by Oklahoma LED. Sorry.
Mr.
I'm jumping ahead.
Joe Schrader is here from Oklahoma LED to give you a presentation. I believe the board members have all gotten this by email, but you also have hard copy at your table as we go forward with this. Joe?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board, and everyone here for giving me the opportunity to present this. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to go in reverse today. We were on campus and we were escorted and we counted every single light bulb in every single bathroom, every single closet, the gymnasium, classrooms, the entire campus. So we are intimately familiar with the entire campus. And I'm going to pick on that light right there above the board, just one of those lights. That's a 65-watt light bulb. And that light bulb, I can tell you, and OG&E can tell you how much that costs you to run an hour, a week, a year. And what we're doing is we're going to unscrew that 65-watt light bulb and screw in a 9-watt LED bulb. Now that 9-watt LED bulb, with that example, is about 82% energy savings, which burns 82% less kilowatt hours, which affects your budget 82%. You're paying 82% less. That light will last, is rated for 50,000 hours, which OG&E for schools has a baseline that your lights are on for 2,777 hours a year. That's their baseline for schools. So 50,000 hours divided by 2,777, that light will last right at about 18 years. And after 18 years, it will have only lost 20% of its lumen output, which we will not be able to tell that it lost 20% of its lumen output. So that is what we're doing throughout the entire district, or proposing to do throughout the entire district. And if you could go to tab 2, put your finger there and put your finger at tab 3. Page 1 of tab 2 and page 2 of page 1 of tab 3. Tab 2, you can see, it says Guthrie Public Schools. You can see in red it says administration, old shop, indoor batting, baseball and football field house. Everybody see that? This whole report is labeled by category, by building. And I'm just going to pick on this first row. This first row says 4-lamp T8 2x4 troffer. That is that light right there, this 2x4. In that administration building, it burns 112 watts. We're going to change it to a 48-watt LED. At OG&E's baseline at 2,777 hours a year, that light, now I want you to turn to tab 3, page 1 of tab 3. Do you see that first row where it says 83? There are 83 of those lights in the administration building. Now let's go back to tab 1. So 83 lights on 2,777 hours is burning about, you're buying about 25,815 kilowatt hours. At 8 cents a kilowatt hour, it adds up. That light, when it's converted to LED, will go from 25,815 kilowatt hours to 11,000 kilowatt hours. Significant difference, drop in kilowatt hours and cost. We go through this page by page, every single light in every single room, in every single closet. And if we go to the very back, there's a summary. Very back. Last page, right before tab 3. You'll see that, bottom right-hand corner, that this entire, we are saving almost 1.1 million kilowatt hours a year at 8 cents a kilowatt hour. So this report shows and demonstrates tremendous savings, but I wanted to pick on one light because that's easy for people to understand, one light, and we're just doing that with every single light throughout the district. So that's how we came up with these numbers. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, let's go to tab 1. Tab 1 has, the first 2 pages is an executive summary, and I'm not going to go through this. This is just 2 pages that describes very briefly what this whole report says. What I'd like everyone to do is move to the page that says Guthrie Public Schools right here. I believe that's the 3rd page under tab 2, or tab 1. Is everybody there?
Yes.
With a complete LED conversion, we will cut your lighting energy by 64%, which will save Guthrie Public Schools about $128,000, $455,000 a year. Your rebate from OG&E is $174,032. Through our analysis, these pages, we have determined that you are spending, maintenance included, about $15,173 a month on lighting the entire district. That is what you're currently spending. After the LED conversion, you will only be spending $4,468. You will be saving about $10,000 every single month. Now, we understand the budget crisis in schools and in Guthrie, and I've had conversations with Dr. Simpson. We are proposing to take that rebate and those savings to 100% pay for the entire conversion, and there's money left over every single month. By moving forward with this type of a conversion is actually printing money for the school district. So if you'll go to the next page, this page right here. The annual savings is about $128,000 a year. The total investment installed is $753,836,000. The rebate from OG&E is $174,032. So the net investment is $579,804. This conversion will save, if you paid cash, will save in 10 years $704,000. Now, the finance option, through a lease purchase, through government capital. Government capital currently is working with over 80 schools, leasing everything that schools lease. So this finance option does comply with all educational borrowing regulations. There is zero money down, zero up front. There is nothing. There is not a check that needs to be written. We move forward. We do the entire conversion in the entire school. You will go from paying $15,000 a month in lighting expenses to about $4,400, $4,500 a month in lighting expenses. Your payment, your lease purchase payment, will be about $7,752. That leaves you a net cash flow positive month 1 of just under $3,000. That's how much money you're saving by moving forward with this project. After the 84 months, this district will be saving right at about $10,000 every single month. We call this a legacy program because the decision that superintendents are making today, which is budget neutral, which does not cost you any new money, whoever is sitting in these chairs in 7 years are going to look back and say, thank you very much. You've just created an extra $10,000 a month for our school district. So, and in 10 years, that savings is $633,000. If you'll go to the next page, and I will only spend a couple more minutes, my presentation is over. This page demonstrates the current kilowatt hours at about 1,866,000 kilowatt hours is what Guthrie Public Schools is buying from OG&E in lighting. That will drop to about 670,000 kilowatt hours. You can see we will go from $149,000 a year in annual energy cost to $53,000 a year in annual energy costs. The difference during the 84 months will be paying 100% for the light conversion, but with a cash flow positive of about $3,000. Now, if we'll go to the next page, I will, in summary, this red line represents your annual budget to light this facility, and that includes lighting maintenance. So option A is to do nothing and move on to the next item. You will still be spending about $182,000 a year in lighting expenses. That will never go away. You will never pay off your lighting bill. As you know, OG&E will never go away. Option B is the green line. If you finance, which I think is a very smart idea, if you lease purchase, you will see that your lighting expense drops for 84 months by almost $3,000 a month, every month. After 84 months, you'll see what happens. It drops considerably. Option A, that red line, will never dip. That red line actually will increase little bit by little bit. OG&E just said, we just saw it on the news, they're looking at increasing their rates. So this proposal is really probably the one time in your life that saying yes to a purchase saves you money. Saying no to this purchase doesn't save you $1. So we do this in private industry. We convert high rises, parking lots, parking garages. We've been working with schools. This is our first year working with schools, and it's been a wonderful process. It goes smooth. We know what we're doing. If this proposal passes, we will be doing this during the summer, so there will be no interruption, and that's really the holy grail of times to do a conversion like this. And I will close on this note. I just found out OG&E, the rebate program, is coming to a close. They allot so much money for schools. You are paid in rebate form 15 cents per kilowatt hour saved, and they allot so much money a year. Well, they're up. So it's mission critical that this proposal be approved or disapproved, however you want to vote, but the money will be gone. I'm expecting a call Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I'm calling the schools that are in the OG&E district saying, if we're going to vote on this, let's vote on this, because there's no guarantee that that $172,000 is going to be renewed next year, January 1. So that's my program. I'll open it up for questions.
I had a question.
Yes.
Ironically, I work for Oklahoma State University, and they are making a eager move towards these same savings, and we actually had OG&E in our offices late last week. And I have forwarded the information to Dr. Simpson. One of the things that they did talk about, from what I understand from your proposal that you mentioned when we met, was it last week? Mm-hmm. This is just for the lamps. And OG&E offers a program where if you're replacing the fixtures as well, there are graduated discounts or incentives that you can get from the replacement. They indicated that they would work with the district and in theory you, to maximize the incentive and the savings that the district could potentially reap. Is that something that, I know you'd mentioned that basically all you do is retrofits. Is that just the lamps or is that fixtures as well?
That's a good question. We call it a retrofit because this is an existing building. It's not a new design. If you were building a new building that would be inspected, it would not be called a retrofit. It's purely called a retrofit because we're taking an existing one-for-one. That's why it's called a retrofit. There are most of your fixtures we are retrofitting. The gym, the outdoor fixtures, they are new fixtures. We are what's called an ESCO, an energy saving company. This is all we do is LED. We eat, sleep, drink, breathe LED. We know the fixtures. We only do business with name brand products. Well, I like to kid, we only use genuine GM parts. But where we can save money in retrofitting, we retrofit. Where it doesn't make sense to retrofit because of the rebate, if the rebate makes more sense to do a new fixture, we do a new fixture. So OG&E has already been out here and validated the report and validated the rebate, and we will have that letter tomorrow. So we've already been working very close with OG&E, but that's a great question. But we retrofit where it makes where you get the biggest bang for your dollar, and if it makes sense because of the rebate to do a new fixture, then we do a new fixture.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question for Dennis. Why 10 years? Was that what we think we can afford? Why are we financing something that long? I guess that's my biggest question.
I think it's 7 years.
I think it's a 7-year finance.
Yes, 84 months. We will probably, rather than just going with the lease purchase arrangement they have, we will get quotes from our local banks also, which we've already informed these folks about. And we may get quotes for 5 years, 6 years, and 7 years. so that we can see, if we can pay it off quicker and still not have a negative cash flow out of the deal, then we may want to accelerate the payback on that. But what we want to avoid is paying it off so quickly that we affect our financial condition in the times that we're in negatively. So we will probably ask for options from financial institutions of more than one period for the payback of the funds.
From the start, I told Mr. Schrader, we would shop the financing of it. And also, as Dennis and I talked this afternoon, looking at a 5-year window to a 7-year window to see what it would do with us on our cash flow basis as well. Because like Dennis said, we don't want something that's going to put us in a negative cash flow situation for a shorter term, because right now we just can't afford it.
Can't afford that.
But if we want to pay this off as soon as we can to enter into this agreement. Joe, I was unaware OG&E had been out.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
And this is an action item later on in the agenda, so we can have discussion about it there as well. And Joe, if you want to hang around.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Schrader. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Have any items to pull?
Yes, I need to pull item A.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Is there a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda excluding item A.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Smedley,
Yes.
Bennett Johnson,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Salee, Pearson,
Yes.
Pennington,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes?
6 ayes, 0 nays.
I move we approve item A on the consent agenda.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Smedley,
Yes.
Bennett Johnson,
Yes.
Davis,
Abstain?
Pearson,
Yes.
Pennington,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes?
5 ayes, 1 abstention.
Next item on the agenda is 10A. Recommendation, consideration, and possible action to authorize the superintendent to proceed with formulating an agreement with Oklahoma LED.
We don't have an agreement yet, but in order to move this along, talking with our attorneys, that was where the wording for this agenda item came, is so we could explore the financing and formulate an agreement. And we will have, there's potential, if that is the board's pleasure this evening, that this could be an agenda item. We're going to have a special board meeting on sometime after May 19th to accept the bids for Central Elementary, so we could act on this conceivably before the June board meeting if we get the agreement firmed up and everything else. I will mention that I've had conversations. Our architects have reviewed the spec sheets for all of the fixtures that are to be installed, and it was a very favorable review I received from them about the fixtures, and they went over all of them this weekend. Further, I had conversations today with the superintendent from Idabel, who has done their installation from Oklahoma LED. And I received very favorable comments, not only about the installation work, but also about the quality of light and the improvements that it made across their district. And so, with those qualifiers that I've been through today, as we looked at this, I would recommend that we go ahead and approve this. But obviously, if there's questions for myself or our vendor here.
I would be interested in seeing the report from OG&E as far as what recommendations were made with regards to the types of fixture replacements and just retrofits. That's all I have.
And I would too. I was unaware we've done this.
Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we authorize the superintendent to proceed with formulating an agreement with Oklahoma LED.
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Next item on the agenda is recommendation, consideration, and action upon amendment to renew the agreement with Clearwater Enterprises for the purchase of third-party natural gas for 2016-2017.
We've been doing business with Clearwater, buying natural gas from them for quite a while, and I believe we only have one facility that does not meet the quantities of usage to qualify for their services. And Mr. Schultz shopped this year and came back with a recommendation to maintain our agreement with Clearwater. And I don't know if Dennis, or anything else you want to add to that?
No, savings over what we would have paid had we stayed with Oklahoma Natural Gas this year was about $5,200. Constellation was the other company that I shopped it around with, and the third-party suppliers are all fairly close in their pricing, but the structure that Clearwater uses is advantageous over Constellation. Would have saved us some money there too. Rather, it's a year with a real high usage because of a lot of cold weather, or a year like we had this year where we had mild weather and very limited usage. We will save money with Clearwater over Constellation or ONG.
One of the things that Dennis and I have talked about, obviously we're watching our pennies very closely, closer than we ever have, but with the low price of natural gas right now, there's not as much savings from these third-party vendors, but there's still savings there. And if the price of natural gas, let's say next winter, were to spike, we would realize even greater savings.
I make a motion that we approve the agreement with Clearwater Enterprises for the purchase of third-party natural gas for 16 and 17.
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Next item on the agenda, item C, recommendation, consideration, and action upon renewal with National Purchasing Cooperative Interlocal Participation Agreement with Buy Board National Purchasing Cooperative for 2016-2017.
This is an agreement we've had for 2 or 3 years. We have utilized their services on occasion, I believe, but very limited, but we want to continue to have those so we can explore this buying power that they have. And Dennis can answer any other questions you might have.
Any discussion?
I make a motion that we approve the renewal with Purchasing Cooperative Interlocal Participation Agreement with Buy Board National Purchasing Cooperative for 16 and 17.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Next item is item D, recommendation, consideration, and action to approve teachers, administrator, and coordinator as listed for 2016 K-8 remedial summer school.
On page 99 of the packet, this is an annual renewal so that we can provide summer school for our students. If you have questions, Mr. Walters,
Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the teachers, administrator, and coordinator as listed for 2016 K-8 remedial summer school.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Next item on the agenda, item E, recommendation, consideration, and action upon school improvement plan for 2015-2016, pages 100 to 178.
You have that in your packet, and this is the sign of technology moving forward, because when I first got into central office administration, we had to provide these to the board members on a CD-ROM because they were so big. We have trimmed this down a little bit, but we still have a comprehensive plan that we are required to ratify annually. And Ms. Walters has worked hard on this, as well as several of our staff members, and can answer any questions you might have.
Any discussion?
I move we approve the school improvement plan for 2015-16.
Second?
Any discussion?
I have a comment. Just reading through this action plan, my hat is off to you. I kept thinking, will this ever end? Like, still.
It's a village. The administrators do most of it, and we work together, so it's them.
Great.
Comments I'm not allowed to editorialize on.
Great job. Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Six ayes, 0 nays.
Next item on the agenda, item F, recommendation, consideration, and action upon Edgenuity Virtual Classroom Consortium contract with Meridian Technology Center for 2016-2017, on page 179.
This, for several years, we have been in a consortium with Meridian Technology Center to utilize the software licenses, and it has been highly beneficial to us financially to do it that way. We use these in the sense that while we have 35 software licenses, because we're in the consortium, we can have more than 35 on at one time. And we use this for credit recovery, but the other thing that we use this for that is probably most prevalent is with our alternative school curriculum. And it's expensive when you're looking at our budgets right now, but not doing it is even more expensive. This is a very effective curriculum that we've utilized with our alternative school kids, and we've changed to this when I got here, or shortly after I got here, and our EOI performance has improved, and we are showing improvement in those areas because of, I give credit to the software. And Mr. Ogle can answer any questions you might have. We got it to come down just a little bit, but not a lot.
I will say that this is paid with ACE money that we get from the state, so it doesn't come from the general fund.
That's good right there. We like that.
We like that.
Good answer.
Any discussion? Is there a motion?
lot better.
I make a motion that we approve the Edgenuity Virtual Classroom Consortium contract with Meridian Technology Center for 2016-17.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Next item on the agenda, item G, recommendation, consideration, and action upon non-renewal of Transpar Group contract with Guthrie Public Schools for transportation management services for 2016-2017, page 180.
This, the letter that I sent Transpar's president is from April 19th, is in the board packet. I will say that they have been very, very cooperative with us in trying to provide a transition period where we transition to in-house leadership of their transportation department. And we have some solutions and recommendations for that later on in the agenda tonight. But I would say that this has been an amicable separation, and would encourage, would recommend that you approve the separation.
I make a motion that we non-renew the contract with Transpar Group contract for Guthrie Public Schools for transportation management services for 2016 to 17.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 11 on the agenda, proposed executive session for the purpose of discussing employment of personnel, FMLA request, resignation, separation from employment, and transfer of position request. All is set out on the personnel reports. Discussion of possible employment of a director of operations. Discussion of possible employment of a maintenance supervisor. Rehiring of support personnel is listed for 2016-2017. Employment of career and probationary contract teachers is listed for 2016-2017. Discussion of district level administrators contract is listed for 2016-2017. Discussion of teacher negotiations for 2016-2017. Disclosure of which information would violate the confidentiality requirement of state and/or federal law, all pursuant to 25 Oklahoma statutes, section 307B, 1, 2, and 7.
Madam President, I vote that we go into executive session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington. Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
I'd like to acknowledge the board's return to open session. Only items in agenda 11 were discussed in executive session and no votes were taken. This shall constitute the executive session minutes. Item number 12, vote on action as set out on personnel reports.
I move we approve the action set out on our personnel reports.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 13, action upon recommendation to rehire support personnel as listed for 2016-2017.
I make a motion that we rehire support personnel as listed for 2016 and 17.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 14, action upon recommendation to employ career and probationary contract teachers as listed for 2016-2017. Your motion?
I make a motion that we approve to employ the career and probationary contract teachers as listed for 2016 and 2017.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 15, recommendation, consideration, and action upon district level administrator's contract as listed for 2016-2017 without specification for salary or assignment.
I make a motion that we approve the district level administrators contract listed for 2016 and 17 without specification of salary or assignment.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 16, recommendation, consideration, and possible action on employment of a director of operations for 2016-2017.
I would make a recommendation that the board enter into an employment agreement with Mr. John Cody Thompson, and that he begin June 1st as Director of Operations, and that will be based on where he fits on the administrative salary schedule.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve consideration and possible action on employment of Director of Operations for 2016, 2017, John Cody Thompson.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Item 17, recommendation, consideration, and possible action on employment of a maintenance supervisor for 2016-17.
Madam President, I have no recommendation for that position at this time.
Item,
No.
I'm sorry. Item 18, recommendation, consideration, and action to accept any resignations offered since the posting of the agenda.
We have none.
Item 19, discussion and possible action on new business not known about or could not have been reasonably foreseen at the time of the agenda posting.
We have none.
Item 20.
Madam President, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.